The ST line version of the Escape is amazing. We've got body color pretty much everywhere, even along the lower rockers. You've got body colored side mirror caps, an ST line badge, and some really nice highlights once you get inside the vehicle. I love it. And this is the ST line Elite, which is the highest available ST line version of the vehicle. It's the traditional hybrid. It's got the premium package and pretty much every other package that you can think of. And it also has the available 19-inch blacked wheels instead, which look pretty dang sharp. So you're going to find these things with 19-inch wheels standard regardless, but you do have the option for the 19-inch black, and that black look just pops. This one is in the carbonized gray, and it is all-wheel drive. In the Escape, you're going to find it with either front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, depending on which version of the vehicle that you're in. This one is the intelligent all-wheel drive, which means the vehicle automatically determines which wheel needs which amount of power and automatically applies it on the fly. There is the option through the media screen where we can select 4 different drive modes, so like sport mode, slippery mode, and a few things, or if you're going to play with traction and stability control, fuel economy, and things like that. But there's no way to permanently lock it out to all-wheel drive mode, unfortunately. But here or there, you've got some options. This is the traditional hybrid, but you do have the option for the plug-in hybrid as well. Plug-in hybrid's pretty good, 60-kilometer range, so you're about 37-ish mile range, and it's got pretty good charge times as well. Looking at the traditional hybrid, though, it's just going to charge up as you drive. Now, this one also utilizes a few cameras, so we've got the backup camera, side view mounted cameras, and the front-facing camera for the full 360 view. So you've got a full 360 view, a front partial view, a front 180-degree view, and the backup camera view, which is really sharp. But a few things that you're going to find technology-wise inside of this thing. Forward sensing system. There are fog lamps, LED headlamps as well. And then in some versions of the Escape, you're also going to find an LED light bar along the very top of the grille. That might be strictly an aluminum or an LED strip, depending on which model of the vehicle that you're in. Most of the bumper inside of this thing is going to be body color. There's a small silver part along the very bottom, and then there are some nice black contrasts. But this is the carbonized gray metallic paint. Nice and subtle, it's dark. I do like a few other colors personally, like some of the blues are kind of nice. The white actually looks really sharp because you can see all the different black and white contrasts there, but it's going to come down to a matter of personal preference. I do love that the 360 camera is available inside of this thing though. That wasn't something that was available in last year's model, so I love that it is available here. This thing also has a full park assist system, so it can help you out with parallel parking, perpendicular parking, etc. But if you want to walk through on how to use the park assist system, you'll find that down in the description of the video. Up we go on a traditional prop bar. But I mean, realistically, it's not challenging to do that at all. And we're looking at the 2.5 liter traditional hybrid. Power-wise, this thing pushes out 192 horsepower and 155 pound-feet of torque, which is pretty respectable. Now, there are different engine choices that are available, depending on which model of the vehicle that you're in as well. So the plug-in hybrid is literally its own beast. Outside of that, you can find the traditional hybrid in pretty much every trim level of the vehicle. So it's either going to be the 2.5 liter hybrid, you're going to look at the 2.5 liter plug-in hybrid, the 1.5 EcoBoost, or the 2 liter EcoBoost. Different options just depending on what you care about inside of your ride. But this thing does give you really good fuel economy at the end of the day. And then with the plug-in, you have fully electric miles that are available there. If you're looking for the most power, most towing capacity, you definitely have to make sure you look at the 2 liter turbocharged engine though. Like towing capacity inside of that thing is 3,500 pounds, which is amazing. But really straightforward. Big thing, I mentioned it in a lot of my videos recently, make sure you're maintaining your vehicle. Regularly change your oil is probably like the one key thing. If you're on a super tight budget, at least make sure you're changing your oil. But you should definitely be performing routine maintenance as well, just to make sure you get the best possible life out of your ride. It doesn't matter which version of the Escape that you're in, whether you're in one of the hybrids, the traditional gas engines, whatever the case may be. Minimum manufacturer's recommendation is just regular 87, so that's a nice thing. Now here's the thing. The cap here is actually locked when you look at the hybrids, and that's got to do with depressurization. So if you want to get inside, Just to the left-hand side of the steering wheel, there are a few buttons. We're gonna push in order to pop this thing open, so it's straightforward. And it's a capless system with anti-siphon technology built in, which is great. And regular 87 octane is the minimum manufacturer's recommendation. So you don't need to use anything higher than that, but the horsepower and torque specs that are achieved underneath the hood are all done using a premium fuel. Like it's, I think, 94 octane that they use in their ratings. It's definitely not necessary. Like I'm looking at $1.52 a liter right now, so it's a little pricey. This thing works great off of 87. That is the minimum manufacturer's recommendation. It's just that if you want the best possible performance under the hood, you're ideally looking like a 93 or a 94 octane. You just don't need to do it and save yourself some cash. Looking at the back end of the Escape, you've got the reverse sensing system, backup camera, rear wiper, which are all going to be standard pieces of technology. There is the dual tip exhaust, and then this one also has the available trailer tow package that you can get right at time of ordering from the factory. Towing capacity inside of the Escape is going to depend on which model of the vehicle that you're in. We've got our Escape badge along the back. Because this is the hybrid, you've got the hybrid badge along the bottom right side. Liftgate inside of this thing might be manual. Pretty much power across the board though at a bare minimum. And then outside of that, you've got the option for foot activated power. So just to the left-hand side of the steering wheel, you can open up the liftgate that way. You can use the key fob, you can swipe your foot underneath, or just under the seat and Escape, you can lift it up that way too. But this thing has a boatload of mats and a bunch of cargo accessories too. So a lot of accessories that are available right from the factory and aftermarket. This one has the regular cloth liners. It's got the thermoplastic rubber trays as well. It's got the cargo shield, like the cargo protector. And then it also has this back cargo protector as well. Like this thing is spec'd out to pretty much have every possible option that's available, which is wild. But you can order the floor liners, like the thermoplastic rubber trays, right from the factory. If you wanted to, you can go aftermarket through WeatherTech, so there are a lot of options that are available. It's really going to be a matter of personal preference at the end of the day, but so many options. Like I said, like this one has the option for like a cargo shield, so it'll sit up overhead there. And then the cargo protector if you want to spray things off rather than having to clean off carpet. So if you get messy, that's when I would definitely recommend looking at the thermoplastic rubber trays instead from the factory. Just saves you so much of a headache, and it's just going to give you even more longevity for your vehicle. Really useful in the wintertime too, because you start tracking salt and snow and things like that in your car. It can get a little bit messy. But there's not much back here. Like because this is the upgraded audio system, speaker off to the right side, there's a 12-volt power point off to the left. That's really about it. But we are a 60-40 bench inside of this thing, so 60 driver, 40 passenger. You can fold down one side or the other very easily as well. And I mean, with that seat folded down, it just opens things up so nicely. So I mean, if you need the space, it is available there, which is great. And then really the only other thing to point out is that underneath all of this, there is the spare tire. So it is a mini spare tire, but it is available there as an option. You could change the tire yourself if you want to. The jack is off to the left-hand side. So white spigot is off to the right. And you've also got forward roadside assistance if you didn't want to change it to yourself and you wanted somebody else to do it for you. So that is available there as an option. Taking a peek at the size of the Escape, it's a relatively nice size vehicle. You're going to find some standard technology on the outside too. So things like 5-digit number pad. If you want to get in without your key fob on you, you've got that flexibility. And then as long as you've got your key fob on you, you can touch in order to be able to lock the doors, or you can also slide in if you wanted to go that route too, which is kind of nice. Now there are a few things as well. Side view mirrors don't have the option for LEDs whatsoever in any trim level, and you don't have the option for power folding side view mirrors either. If you wanted to fold them, manual fold is your only option, but it still is available there as an option if you want it. All right, so this one, ST line Elite version of the Escape, but you're going to find a lot of the same features when you look at just the regular ST line. So any of them really. So it's going to be a matter of how you have this thing built out. But one thing I love about the ST line is that we've got this nice kind of like carbon, hold on, let's see if you can see it there. There you go. Just kind of make it out with this like beautiful like carbon fiber highlight Wraps all the way across the door there and like even through right underneath the dash. Looks really sharp. And because it's the ST line, there's red stitching along the door, red stitching all the way around the steering wheel. That follows through even the armrest. The seats, first, second row as well, which I mean, it looks really, really nice. Now, because this is the ST line version of the vehicle, like I said, nice red stitching there. It's like a flat bottom steering wheel as well, which looks sharp. But I love it. This one does have seat memory. So once you've got your seat set up along the side there, you can also set up your side view mirror. You're going to press and hold either 1, 2, or 3 for it to remember your your side view mirror, as well as your driver's seat there too. If you look at any of the other trim levels of the vehicle, when you get the ebony interior, it's got this like ebony cream mix. So the top part of here would be like a cream color versus inside of the ST line version, it's black on black and it looks really, really nice. Like I really love the consistency there. It's sharp. And because this one has the added premium package, you're also looking at the 10-speaker Bang & Olufsen sound system, which, I mean, it sounds so, so good. But we'll get to an audio test there in just a second. But I love it. All of the different highlights along the dash, it's really good. There's like a glossy black highlight that follows just above the dash, like the instrument cluster screen that looks sharp. It's good. Just by your left knee there, series of other switches. This one's going to be for your liftgate. Fuel door if you've got a hybrid. Otherwise, this won't be there. Selector switch to let you figure out what's going on with your running lamps. I just love that it's going to be available there right through the cluster too. And then you can also increase or decrease the brightness of the cluster screen, as well as the Sync 4 media screen as a default, which is great. And this one does have the head-up display. There you go. You can kind of make out some info there. But if you want like a walkthrough on the steering wheel cluster, the multimedia screen, things like that, check down in the description of this video. I've put together some comprehensive walkthroughs. But some basics: adaptive cruise control, all of your volume controls, voice command prompt, buttons to navigate through that beautiful digital cluster screen. But I love, like, the wheel inside of this thing is good. It's like a flat-ish bottom wheel too. It's nice. Typical Ford blue oval in the middle. It would be kind of nice if that was updated a tiny little bit. Or even for like the ST lines, if they could, like, there's a blacked out version of this logo available. So maybe like a blacked out in the ST line would be kind of cool, or something with like red highlights, just to make it a little bit different. But still, here or there, it is, honestly, the wheel, like year over year, does feel really nice and it's premium. There's the option for heated steering wheel inside of this thing, depending on which trim level of the vehicle that you're in. But regardless of the trim, the steering wheel inside of the Escape lineup is going to be a manual telescoping across the board. So right by the left knee there, there's a little adjusting bar. We just go in, out, up and down, find your perfect position. One thing I love about the seats is how comfortable they are. Like, the styling inside of them is great. You've got this like diamond weave texture along the seat. Heated seats available here as an option. No ventilated, unfortunately. So that's one other thing I would love to see, would be the option for a ventilated first row seat for driver passenger side. Not there, but I'm like, oh, fingers crossed. I'm like, hopefully it comes. Off to the side there. So this is the Sync 4 media screen. There is factory navigation that's going to be included in here. And the factory navigation's a nice one. So you've got 3 years of connected service, and the connected service would be for things like live traffic and weather and things like that. After the 3 years are up, that live traffic essentially goes away unless you subscribe to it. So if you don't subscribe to it afterwards, it just defaults to a traditional GPS map instead. Through iPhones, you can set up either Google Maps, Apple Maps, or Waze if you're connected to CarPlay. And then through Samsung devices, you can set up, it's just strictly Google Maps for now. But it is full screen capability there, and it looks really, really sharp. Now, the Escape in general is going to have 2 different options for that media screen. It's going to be either an 8-inch, so the same size as last year's model, or this new 13.2-inch. But regardless of the screen, it's still going to be the new Sync 4 system. And that means that there's support for wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, so you no longer have to worry about USB cables inside of this thing, which I think is brilliant. Moving back, series of options for audio. So what we're going to do, let's plug in a USB stick here. This is the upgraded 10-speaker Bang & Olufsen sound system. So it's either going to be a 6-speaker system default in the lower trims, and then you're going to get the 10-speaker system when you look at the premium packs. And the 10-speaker is so, so good. Like, listen to this.
Today's gonna be a good day. Wake up. Today's gonna be a good day.
Okay, and that's not even at half volume. So I'm going to crank it up a little bit. No audio adjustment afterwards. This is strictly right from the microphone that I'm recording on right now. So I'm going to go a little bit over half so you can hear how this thing sounds.
Set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time.
So it is literally shaking the car right now. I mean, it's just this upgraded Bang & Olufsen sound system. It sounds so good inside of this thing. And you can play around with the sound settings as well. So if you wanted to adjust the treble, mid-range bass, etc. Actually, I'm going to do that. So typically I like to put the treble down a bit and the bass up. And when we do that, let's get the music playing again.
I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Like it's such good audio inside of this thing. So, I mean, I love the B&O sound system you're going to find inside of Ford vehicles. They've just done such a good job here. Like, it's a smaller cabin too, but I mean, we've got a speaker along the door. There are 3 speakers technically along the dash there as well. So one on the driver, one passenger, one in the middle, a few in the second row seats, one in the trunk as well. So there are speakers everywhere, which just leads to that fully immersive sound. So it is really nice. But there are a series of different settings that are available, a ton of different options, different features that you're going to find just depending on the model of the vehicle that you're in. So you've got different drive modes, driver assistance, power flow, etc. Because this is the traditional hybrid, it's really the only hybrid element that you're going to see. So you can see the battery, the engine is on because the battery is currently charging up. It's going to look slightly different when you're in the plug-in hybrid. You're going to have options for choosing your charge locations and charge times, conditioning your cabin and things like that. So there are more options available there. But tons of options. I like the drive modes because it's going to play around with a few things. So there's normal, eco, sport, or slippery. I love me my sport mode. Really, really nice. Moving back, series of other options including a digital owner's manual. All of the climate control settings inside of this larger screen are baked right into the screen. If you have the smaller 8-inch, climate control settings will still be down the center stack. Otherwise, they're built right in. So you've got your controls for first row heated seats. There are also, you can see there, dual zone climate control, heated steering wheel button, auto, whether we want the climate going to our windshield face or feet, max AC, max windshield defroster, I should say, rear window defroster, and then air conditioning. From there, 4-way blinkers, push button start. So that's a standard feature inside of all Edge model, or Escape models, I should say, for the 2023 model year. This one does have park assist. So it is available there as an option. So either navigate to parking or park assist, which means that the vehicle can help us out with parallel parking, perpendicular parking, parallel park out. And that can be on either the left or the right side, depending on what we're doing with our turn signals. So we do have that available as an option, which is nice. Moving down, also the 360 camera. So you've got your full 360 view. There's a front partial view, front 180 degree view, and then just your backup camera again. So you've got a few different options that are available there. Max defroster, and then a hot button press to get into the different drive modes as well. This one I did mention, so it does have a wireless charge pad that's available there. We can see wireless charging is currently going, USB type A and a USB-C power point, 12 volt power point down there. It's like a nice metallic highlight right down there. Rotary dial shifter, park reverse neutral drive, and then a dedicated low gear. Electronic parking brake, auto hold setting with this one turned on. In drive, foot off the brake, car's not moving. So it's a great safety setting. A few cup holders, and then a little change holder. This thing also has a little armrest with that same red stitching, and then popping it up, a little bit of storage space, but nothing really other than that. Moving up overhead, this specific one does have the auto-dimming rearview mirror. Also a few controls for our cabin lights. There are controls for the panoramic sunroof that you're going to find available optionally inside of this thing. So single button press opens the shade up most of the way. Secondary button press will open it up the full way. And then you've also got full roof, well, almost not full roof open, half roof open, I should say, but it's really nice. It's the same idea. Single button press opens it up the full way. Secondary button press opens it up that last little bit. So it doesn't go past that point. But it's full panoramic in the sense. Then when we open this up, the shade is just opened beautifully. So nice. You can vent it out as well if you want to. Create a little cross breeze. Open, close. Really straightforward. Typical Ford styling with sunglasses holder there. Over to the side, home link system. So if you've got a garage door opener at home, you can program it in. There's a business card holder on the outside and the inside. And there's also a little vanity mirror with your lights built in on top of that. And this thing extends out. So if you've got a garage door opener at home, there are a few ways that you can program it in. It's either through the motor or if you've got the actual device on you instead, so the wireless device. A little bit tricky to program it in, but I'll link down in the description of the video if you want to walk through on how you can set that up. But it's pretty straightforward. But like I said, I love the interior. So there are some design elements that are borrowed from last year's model, but there are a lot of nice new ones. Like the head-up display, the way that they've adjusted it from last year, I think is absolutely beautiful. I love the new colors and everything that they've introduced. The cluster screen looks beautiful. And even the smaller, so this is the 12.3-inch digital cluster, but even the smaller 8-inch instead looks really good. And then the multimedia screen, I think Ford did a phenomenal job there. It's really good. I like it overall. Like there's really no, like there aren't many complaints here. I think Ford did a good job. The seats are really comfortable. There's a boatload of headspace. Like I've got 4.5, almost 5 inches of headspace, and like I'm 6 feet tall. So, I mean, you're 6'5", 6'6", you'll probably be able to fit inside of this thing. But what I'm going to do, set the driver's seat up for myself, the way that I would normally drive. There we go, that's good. And let's hop back to that second row and see what's going on space-wise. I like how much space is in the second row of this thing. So, I mean, with myself being 6 feet, like there's a ton of knee space, good amount of foot space, great amount of head space as well. And like, you're going to see some similar styling in the second row that you saw in the first row as well. Like specifically with the seats, with like this diamond texture along the seat. It's really nice. It's really nice. Now, a few small highlights back here. There are cup holders in the middle. All of the anchor points. So you've got anchors in the seats, tether points in the back there. So front-facing, rear-facing child seats, you're not going to have an issue. And then one really cool thing about the Escape is that the second row seats are fully adjustable to a degree. So between the legs of the seats there, so there's a bar. We can slide the seat forward and backwards a little bit. By the left side, if you pull, that's the one where you can go forward with the seat if you want to fold it down. But if you extend backwards instead, it's going to give you a little bit of a recline. Which is pretty nice. It's good. But I mean, I've got a good amount of a decent amount of headspace back here. Like I can fit, is what I'm saying. Like an inch roughly of headspace there. So it's not too shabby, but like I said, I can fit no problem. You know, fitting 3 full-size versions of me back here would be like a teeny little bit tight. So I'm like a little bit wider shouldered. So whoever's stuck in the middle there, you kind of be like SOL. But if you've got younger kids, they're not going to have a problem back here. But so styling is good. You've got handles, driver, passenger side, hooks on both sides, and then also some lights overhead there too. But because this is the upgraded 10-speaker system, there are a few speakers along the door back here, and I did mention some speakers along the front. Just really good audio experience. There's not too much back here otherwise, though. Like behind the passenger side, there's a little pocket, a little mat pocket, and then there's a few power points down the armrest as well. Unfortunately, I can't test drive this specific vehicle, but if you're looking for a test drive experience, check down in the description of this video. I was able to take out one of the plug-in hybrids recently, and that thing was actually a heck of a fun drive. Not quite as fun as the 2-liter turbo, but even still, the 2.5-liter hybrid is still pretty solid. And that was a look at the 2023 Ford Escape ST Line Elite. What'd you think? If you have any questions, drop down in the comment section below and let me know. More than willing to talk you through any issues that you might be having. But if you found this video useful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and until I see you next time, take care. Just how sportier it feels in comparison. One thing that I love, oh, hold on, actually. Knew that was going to happen.